In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world is still half asleep, a single mistake was once whispered across the corridors of power and echoed through centuries. It was a mistake worth $1 billion. Though no one knew it back then. A decision so small, yet so catastrophic, that it would alter the course of global finance forever. And it all began with the simple question humanity had never faced before. Can money exist without gold? Long before cities glittered with skyscrapers, before Wall Street roared with traders, before countries printed colorful notes with presidents and queens, money was heavy. It clinked, it weighed, it could be stolen or lost. Coins of gold and silver formed the backbone of trade. But as kingdoms grew and warfare stretched the limits of treasure chests, rulers faced a harsh reality. There simply wasn't enough gold in the world to keep their economies alive. In the late 1600s, England stood at the edge of chaos. Wars against France were draining resources. Ships returning from long voyages carried stories of dwindling reserves. Every new battle demanded funds that didn't exist. Debt piled up like storm clouds. The economy slowed, confidence shattered, and the crown grew desperate for a miracle that could transform invisible promises into real power. This was when a Scottish thinker named William Paterson stepped forward with an idea unlike anything the world had ever seen. He was brilliant, persuasive, and dangerously ambitious. Paterson believed that money did not need to be mined. It could be manufactured, not forged illegally, but created legally through trust. He proposed something radical, a centralized institution that would hold people as gold for safekeeping, but issue paper notes that represented that gold. Notes that could be exchanged, traded, circulated lighter, faster, and limitless compared to the slow-moving coins of the past. This institution would not merely store wealth, it would create it. And so, in 1694, under immense pressure from war and bankruptcy, the English government accepted Paterson's proposal. It allowed the creation of the first true central bank. The Bank of England, a bank with the power not just to store money, but to make money. Investors rushed to fund it. In exchange for their gold, the bank issued paper notes to be used by the public. A new era began, but hidden inside this innovation was a flaw. The investors had no idea that the bank was allowed to lend out far more notes than the gold it actually possessed. Notes promising gold that didn't exist. This was the world's first large-scale experiment with fractional reserve banking, the first billion-dollar mistake. At first, no one noticed. The economy began to glow with new energy. Trade expanded. Shops filled with customers holding crisp paper notes. The king received the funds he needed to continue the war. England felt as if it had discovered a fountain of prosperity. But beneath this prosperity was a growing tension, like a bridge carrying weight beyond its capacity. For every note the bank issued, confidence, not gold, held the system together. And confidence is fragile, more fragile than gold, more unpredictable than human nature, more dangerous than any weapon forged in the fires of war. It wasn't long before people began to question this new kind of money. Does the bank truly have enough gold? A few asked, but the questions were whispers, and the excitement of easy trade drowned them out, until one cold morning, a rumor spread like wildfire. The bank doesn't have the gold it promised. Panic erupted. Citizens rushed to the bank demanding the gold represented by their paper. The bank staff scrambled to fulfill requests, handing out coins while praying the vaults wouldn't empty. Line after line, the demand grew, and as the gold supply shrank, the truth became painfully clear. There wasn't enough. The system was built on trust, and trust was crumbling. This moment, this single day of panic was the true billion-dollar mistake. Not because the idea of paper money was wrong, but because no one had predicted how dangerous it was to create more money than real wealth. Picture this. England, late 17th century. A nation is teetering on the brink of collapse, drained by war. In a desperate move, a new kind of bank is created, one that lends money directly to the government. But soon, disaster strikes. The bank overlends, its gold reserves dwindle, and panic sweeps the streets as people rush to trade their paper notes back for gold. The system is about to implode. Late into the night, in candlelit rooms, government ministers faced a terrifying choice. Do they let the bank fail and expose the weakness at the heart of their economy, or do they intervene? Their decision would change the world forever. They chose to protect the bank at all costs. Not because it was flawless, but because it was now woven into the very fabric of society. If it fell, the whole country could fall with it. This was the birth of government-backed paper money. For the first time, money wasn't just a reflection of wealth, it was wealth itself. A powerful illusion kept alive only by public confidence. As the years passed, this fragile experiment grew stronger, becoming a global model. France, initially resistant, was forced to adopt the idea to escape its own financial chaos. America embraced it during its revolution, later creating the Federal Reserve in 1913. From London to Paris, New York to Tokyo, the world was slowly being rewired, but the original flawed trust without any real backing never went away. Prosperity was followed by crashes. The South Sea Bubble, the Panic of 1797, the Great Depression, the 2008 financial crisis. Each event was a tremor, a chilling reminder of that first mistake centuries ago. A reminder that when money can be created with ink instead of mined with sweat, the temptation to create too much is almost irresistible. Yet, this story isn't a tragedy, it's a paradox. Because despite its flaws, the invention of the first central bank is what made our modern world possible. Without it, there would be no global trade on today's massive scale. No skyscrapers funded by loans, no digital payments sipping across the globe, no stock markets, no multinational corporations, and no economic rescue packages during disasters. The mistake that nearly destroyed England became the very foundation of global growth. Still, behind every economic boom, every bubble, and every burst, you can feel the shadow of that early decision, the feeling that our entire financial world, with trillions of dollars moving every second, is built on a system that began with more promises than truth. And the most mysterious part, the mistake never disappeared. It just evolved. Today, money isn't just paper, it's digital. Numbers on a screen, created with a keystroke. The gold standard is a distant memory. Our trust-based system is more deeply embedded than ever before. But so are the risks. When governments print too much, inflation soars. When banks lend too aggressively, debt spirals out of control. The cycle continues. A fragile balance between confidence and collapse. The world learned something profound from that first bank. Money isn't metal or paper. It's belief. It's the collective agreement of billions of people saying, yes, this has value. When that belief is strong, nations thrive. When it cracks, economies crumble. Today, as our financial systems evolve at lightning speed, economists still debate the cost of that original sin. Some call it genius. Others call it a ticking time bomb. But one truth is undeniable. The invention of the first central bank reshaped human history. It turned economies into living, breathing organisms. It created unprecedented opportunities and unimaginable dangers. What began as a desperate gamble to finance a war became the backbone of civilization. And every time you swipe a card, tap your phone, or send money across the world in an instant, you are living inside the legacy of that moment. The moment when gold became paper, paper became trust, and trust became the most valuable currency on earth. The world changed forever the day we decided money could be created from nothing but confidence. And that billion-dollar mistake still shapes our lives, our economies, and our future in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Thanks for watching. If you found the story as fascinating as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the ideas that shape our world.